Hi, church fam. My name's Grant, and I'm on staff with H2O. I grew up going to a small rural church in southern Ohio. I got plugged into H2O pretty early when I came to Ohio State in 2014 and realized there was something different about it. Through my time on West Team, I read God's Word, heard the gospel, and witnessed the radically transformed lives of men and women who were sold out for Jesus. I learned that being a Christian isn't about a set of rules or list of works for me to accomplish to earn God's favor, but instead, faith is about a relationship with Him built on the foundation of Christ and the faith and trust that Jesus died for my sins as an act of eternal love and grace. So I placed my faith in Jesus and got baptized. As I pursued God in my new redeemed life, I went on a mission trip to Haiti, and that's where God first opened my heart to pursue ministry full time. He was breaking my heart for the nations that don't know Him and was calling me to go, and I was so excited. So I graduated from Ohio State and raised support to intern with H2O for a year, and I got to reach out to international students on campus. And then afterwards, I immediately went on staff. Shortly after my internship ended about a year and a half ago, I began experiencing some intense feelings of depression and anxiety. I regularly felt emotionally numb and a lack of drive and motivation to do most things. It wasn't until earlier this year, just before we went into lockdown, that I decided to get help and seek professional counseling. To say that this was one of the best decisions I ever made would be a massive understatement. My counseling sessions have been like a microscope, allowing me to see more clearly the lies and insecurities that have run my life behind the scenes for so long. Lies like people don't enjoy spending time with me, I'm a burden to others, I'm not valuable or worthy, I'm unlovable and unlikable, God can't use me, and the list goes on. While I've been able to identify so many of these core lies, it's been a really hard battle to fight them with truth. This semester was the most challenging season of my life. It seemed like nothing was going the way I had hoped. And as I balanced ministry, seminary, and life, I felt in a constant state of busyness and anxiety, which set up some fertile soil for the lies to take deeper root in my life and run me into the ground. There are countless moments where I felt a deep hopelessness and helplessness, and I felt lonely and disconnected from the people around me. So often, all of the love and excitement for God's calling in my life felt completely drained out of me. I began to wonder, why am I even here? Do I even want to do this anymore? Is this worth it? Has God abandoned me? I began fearing I had made some kind of mistake following God's calling, but I didn't know what else to do or where to go. I had this feeling of being trapped in a deep valley with no way out. Just a month ago, when I was in what was probably my deepest valley, God met me in a wild way and brought me back to the gospel and the amazing salvation He's given me through His Son, Jesus. When I was feeling unlovable, God reminded me of His love for me. When I felt trapped, God recalled all the impossible situations in my life when He had come through. When I was so caught up in my own weaknesses and shortcomings, God reminded me that His grace is sufficient for me. When joy and fullness of life felt unobtainable, God reminded me of the supernatural joy and life He has offered me through His Son. So yeah, right now, life feels better and easier to navigate compared to months ago, but things still aren't perfect. I'm still a broken sinner living in a broken, sinful world. I still struggle with insecurities and doubts, like, is God with me? Am I really loved and liked by Him? Is it worth pursuing the calling He has put in my life? In the worst of times, I feel alone and hopeless, distant from God and abandoned by Him, and question why I'm still going through these personal trials. In the best of times, I recognize that God is doing a process of pruning and refining in my life, cutting out the parts of my life that produce no fruit and give no life, slowly making me into the image of His Son and preparing me for the good works that He has planned for me. This season of life has been far from easy, and it probably won't be long until more trials come my way. But it's been so worth it to pursue God and the eternal work that He's called me to be a part of, and it's been worth it to be drawn closer to Him and know His love and delight in me in a new and personal way. In the storms and doubts of life, I can look back and remember God's faithfulness when He met me in the valleys of my life, and I can trust He will continue to walk with me moving forward. And that's a slice of my life.
Let's go!